The menorah is more than a simple lighting system for the inside of the tabernacle, but rather it's a revelation of the light of the Torah to the world. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with day number 2 of Beha Elatecha. Rashi says that the reason that Aaron was given the job of lighting the menorah is because he felt left out after the princes of the 12 tribes had come and presented their offerings to Yah. Aaron looked around and thought, I don't have anything to offer. And so he was given the daily task of going in and preparing and relighting the menorah. While I appreciate Rashi's commentary very much, I think there's more going on than Aaron's hurt feelings. But rather, I think that it's given to us to understand it's the responsibility of leadership to keep the fire burning and the oil flowing and our wicks trimmed. This speaks to us about keeping a fresh relationship in the Ruach HaKodesh. Unfortunately, what I have seen in the Hebraic roots movement over the years is a reluctance to allow the gifts of the Spirit to operate again. I understand that reluctance. We came out of denominational settings, and for many of us, those of us with a charismatic or Pentecostal background, where maybe we saw some excesses, maybe we saw some abuses, maybe we saw fanatical emotionalism. We saw errant doctrine attached to spiritual ideas. And so we've shied away to protect ourselves. And then we congregate with those that have little or no experience with such things. They've never seen the gifts really in operation correctly. And so we hold ourselves in reserve. My friend, you and I need to see again the outpouring of the Ruach HaKodesh in our congregations and in our lives, so that the light of the Ruach would illuminate the Torah correctly for us in brilliant fashion. Let's go to the book of Ephesians, chapter number 5, and begin reading with verse number 11. And have no fellowship with the fruitless works of darkness, but rather convict them. For it is a shame even to speak of what is done by them in secret. But all matters being convicted are manifested by the light. For whatever is manifested is light. That is why he says, Wake up, you who sleep, and arise from the dead, and Messiah shall shine on you. See that you walk exactly, not as unwise, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are wicked. So then do not be foolish, but understanding what the desire of Yahweh is. And do not be drunk with wine, in which is loose behavior, but be filled with the Spirit, speaking to each other in psalms and songs of praise and spiritual songs, singing and striking the strings in your heart to the Master, giving thanks always for all to Elohim the Father in the name of our Master Yeshua Messiah. There is a need for our light to expose the darkness. If our light is barely lit, if our wicks are not properly trimmed, if there's not sufficient oil, the fire is going to burn low. Then the exposure of sin and the world is going to be low. Now, when you and I shine our light, it's obvious that there are those that would prefer that light not be exposed at all. Yeshua taught us that men love darkness because the light exposes their evil deeds. While you're shining your light, while you're being filled with the Spirit, while you're illuminating and glowing wherever it is that you go throughout the day, there are going to be those that would prefer things to be dark, secluded, shadowed, and hidden. They very well may not appreciate you shining very brightly. But you cannot put your light away for the fear of offending them. Now, don't be obnoxious, but let your light genuinely shine. You see, when it comes time that they are overwhelmed by their darkness, when they are so engrossed in it that they can't escape, they're going to look for the nearest source of light. That has to be you and I. Yah is calling you and I then to be filled fresh with the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, it's easy to overdo it. It's easy to overshare. It's easy to get exuberant, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. We want to share all that we know all at once. Let's learn the beautiful craft of saying a little and in doing so say a lot. What do I mean by that? Give someone a nugget, just a thought, just a few sentences. Make a comment and hush. May the Father anoint us with the gift of hush. And I say that, not that we don't say anything, but that once we have said what needs to be said, that we hush and allow them to chew and to meditate and ruminate over that and let it get into their mind and in their spirit. And then let them come back and ask for a little more. Spoon feed. Otherwise, we will give them enough to choke on. You and I all have heard of the Torah terrorist, and perhaps we've been one. But Yah is asking you and I to let our light so shine that those that are in darkness will see it. That does not mean blinding them with our light. It means glowing, illuminating, so that they have a desire to come to the light. Now, the phrase that opens up this Torah portion is Behalatecha et. That's the Aleph Tav. Hanorot almul panei ha-menorah. And it's translated, when you raise up the lights. But with the et in there, and Yeshua is saying, I am the et, the Aleph Tav. You could interpret that word, which normally we don't, but if you did, then it would read, when you raise up Mashiach's light. How often we want to illuminate ourselves, our gifts, our callings, what we've done, where we've been, what we've accomplished, how many people we know, how much knowledge we have, how many verses that we can elaborate on. The goal is to give someone Yeshua's light. Again, the menorah is not a lighting system for the inside of the tabernacle, although it does cast light there. It's not because Yah can't see. Actually, the Shekinah Yah is illuminating, glowing from the Ark of the Covenant. There is the faint red glow from the coals on the altar of incense. The menorah is more than a lampstand. It is an example that in the presence of Yah, there is light. My friend, you and I don't have to look very far. We don't have to listen to too much of the newscast, read too much on social media to realize that our world is dark. And indeed, a gross darkness is encapsulating the minds and the hearts of those that you and I know and love. Our cities, our communities, they're being swallowed up in this overwhelming darkness. It's violent. It's filled with upheaval. The attempt is to throw off all societal structure. The attempt is to recreate, they say, something better, something new. Let's get rid of the old and let's recreate. But what they're wanting to recreate doesn't match biblical standards any more than perhaps the vices and failures of what we have known. In the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the upheaval, there needs to be a people filled with the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, with fresh anointing and with a powerful light that illuminates those that are in darkness so that they have a place to come. You and I are that people. This is our time. This is our opportunity. Let's not fail to seize it. We'll talk more tomorrow. Shalom.